What's up, YouTube? My name is Sims, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the two most asked questions that I get ever since owning my Tesla Cybertruck, and that's how the hell did I even get a Cybertruck? And two, how much does it cost me month to month to even own a Cybertruck? So let's talk about it. So first things first, I think getting a Cybertruck, you can go a lot of different ways, and I think everybody's situation is going to be a little bit different. I think it's going to depend on, the type of cars you're used to getting as far as cost wise. And I think it's going to depend on your credit. So my very first car was a Model 3 and I got that for around $66,000. I know Tesla is finessing me, but that being my first car, my threshold was always kind of high. Now my bank cleared about a $90,000 check when I applied to get my Model 3. So I kind of was under assumption that, my threshold was already pretty high. So pretty much if you're the type of person that is only financing or only getting $20,000, $30,000 cars and never really got to that upper echelon of like 40, 50, 60, even $70,000 cars, it's going to be kind of hard for you to just go straight in and finance an $80,000+ car. So with that being said, I really think that you have to set everything up in a real strategic type of manner and just kind of make things make sense. Like, would you loan somebody, $80,000, but they've only shown you that they can finance, $20,000? It just doesn't make sense. So I think that's part of it, right? I was able to set myself up, and when it came time to finance a car that was just under 100K, my bank knew that I was good for it because I've already financed higher costing cars. The next two things that I want to talk about is the relationship with your bank and the relationship with Tesla. See, those are things that help me out a lot. So I personally bank with Navy Federal, and I have a lot of products through them, and I do a lot of business with them. So a lot of times they know that I'm good for it, and anything that I want, I pretty much can get under, obviously reasonable means. And also, I think having a good relationship with Tesla, me getting a Cybertruck, that would be my fourth Tesla. So just being part of the Tesla family, I think that they're more fun to finance you through them if you can't get financed through your bank, or they will help you find, financing through their partners and, things like that. So the third thing that kind of helped me even be able to get a Cybertruck is just understanding all of the logistics, all of the numbers, and understanding how much I would pay in taxes, understanding how much I want to put down, understanding what type of credits I would get, etc. Right? So for me, I own a business, so with the Cybertruck, they don't have the initial tax credit coming directly off the base price of the car, but I'll be able to get that on my taxes next year, so I'm not really too concerned about that. I'm going to get those savings anyway. But as far as day one of me getting the car, I did not get that $7,500 off the car, which was definitely a bummer. But I was able to get the loyalty credit of $1,000, which actually helped out a lot. Also, one of my boys used my referral code, and that gave me about an extra $500 in referral credit that I was able to apply to my Cybertruck. So that's $1,500 right there. And then when it came down to a down payment, I thought about putting like $20,000 or $30,000 down, but in reality, I felt like I can use that $20,000 or $30,000 towards something else, and my bank did finance the entire amount, so I actually didn't need to put anything down. Some people say put something down, but when you're financing almost $100,000 car, $20,000, $15,000, $10,000 doesn't do anything to the payment. I believe $20,000 down brought my payment down about $115, and that just for me doesn't make sense. Like $115, if I'm going to be hurting off trying to save that much, then I probably shouldn't be getting this vehicle to begin with. So I took that $20K and just paid off one of my other cars, and that's going to save me way more monthly than putting that $20K down on the car. But as far as putting a down payment, I think that's just going to go based off of what your credit score is, what your interest rate is, different variables like that. But unless you plan on putting like 30 or 40% down, it's really not gonna help your payment at all. The thing that will help your payment is your interest rate. So if you're worried about a certain payment, make sure your credit score is as high as can be before applying for anything this large, and that's gonna help you in the long run and help you the most when it comes to monthly payment. Now, I do wanna note that I did end up putting like 3 to 5K down. I can't remember which one it was. And that was simply because I wanted to get to a certain figure that just kind of looked right and made sense to me, but I didn't need to put anything down. I chose to do that just because I want to finance a certain number. So I know a lot of you motherfuckers are waiting and itching to see how much my monthly payment is and how much I pay in insurance. So I do want to throw a disclaimer out there that there are a few insurance companies that will not cover Tesla Cybertrucks. I don't know why, and for some reason I think they're not covering it under basic insurance, but they will cover it under like luxury insurance. So like the type of insurance you would get on like a Bugatti, Lamborghini, and things like that. I think you would have to get that type of insurance if you want to use those companies. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's State Farm and Progressive, or vice versa, one of the two. I'm not too sure, so don't quote me on that, but that is the actual thing when getting a Tesla Cybertruck. So look into that. If you are trying to get one, make sure your insurance company covers Cybertrucks, because you don't want to get this truck and then be searching around for insurance and then get hit over the head with a super high premium when you could have just did a little bit of homework and made sure everything was straight on that end. But as far as the monthly payment, I'm just gonna give you guys a rough ballpark. I'm not gonna say my exact monthly payment, but it's gonna be somewhere around the $1,400 to $1,500 range. So use your imagination and drop a comment and let me know what you think my exact monthly payment is. And how I afford that is, for me, I'm more of a number guy, and things just have to make sense. And when I break things up, it kind of makes things more affordable for me. So with all of my cars, I pay every 2 weeks. Now, if you want to afford a car that's over 75, 80K or 100K, you have to be making over 120,000. I will just put that out there now. If you want to afford a car that is over 70 plus K, you need to be making over 120,000. Because if you break that down, that's like 10K a month. And the average cost of living is at least like 2K. So you pretty much, at the end of the day, you should have like 5 to 6K to play with, and that will pretty much allow you to pay for things that are $1,200 to $1,500 a month if you choose to do that. I wouldn't say you exactly have to make that much to make this make sense, but if you don't have good credit, you want to have a lot of cash flow. And if you don't have a lot of cash flow, you want to have good credit, or have both, which I have both. So this was pretty much a no-brainer for me. I was never really worried about the payment. I'm not worried about the payment. And at the same time, I've been paying $1,100 for my Model 3 for about 2.5 years. So paying a couple $100 more for definitely a way better car, it's not that bad to me. So when I put that in perspective, this is a vehicle that I wanted. This is a vehicle that I actually love. This is a vehicle that the family loves, and it's something that I can afford. So for me, it was a no-brainer, but those are things that you're gonna have to look into, because once again, I don't care if you get a 2% interest rate. Financing a $90,000, $100,000 car, you're going to be in that $1,200, $1,300 range. There's just no way to get out of it. Mathematically, there's no way to get out of it. So keep that in mind when you're looking at getting all these supercars or these luxury, expensive cars. Pay attention to your interest rate, pay attention to your monthly, and figure out what you can do. Like if you have to break your monthly payment up in three payments, if that's what makes sense for you, do that. Nobody said you have to pay a lump sum of a payment all at once. Not everybody can do that. Something coming out every 14 days just makes sense. Also, it helps me pay ahead on my loan. And as far as insurance goes, I'm pretty lucky to be able to use USAA. And if you guys do have any type of military relationship, you should definitely go with USAA or anybody that they refer you to that they, sponsor. So with USAA, pretty much all of my cars are extremely cheap for insurance. Now, I was actually pretty nervous about the Cybertruck considering what I told you earlier in the video, and with USAA, I had no problems adding this onto my premium. I do pay around, I believe, $130 a month for a full coverage insurance on my Tesla Cybertruck, which is actually amazing. Now, I do want to throw in the cost of charging. So with the Tesla Cybertruck, I believe I get 330 miles at 100%. Charging this car takes a tad bit longer, but that's to be expected because the battery pack is a lot bigger. Now, with this vehicle, I will say it does feel like it drains a lot faster than my Model 3 or Model Y, but again, that's to be expected. It's a bigger vehicle. It's carrying around a lot more weight. All that stainless steel is heavy. But with the battery in the truck being a lot bigger, you can expect that the battery will die a lot faster. And on average, I would say my Model 3 or Model Y would cost me anywhere from $4 to $10 to charge on a month-to-month basis. And I would say with the Cybertruck, from what I've seen, anywhere from $6 to $12 for the cost of charging, as far as like the increase in my electric bill. So for me, I don't think that's that bad, especially when you compare it to things like the F-150. If you go ask the owner of an F-150 how much does it cost to fill up a tank of gas and how often do they fill up? I guarantee you $12 or $20 is not that bad in the course of a month with continuous driving, as consistent as I drive from day in and day out to get to home and work and any other thing that we want to do. So $20, $15, whatever it is not that bad. So in comparison, it's still very efficient, but compared to the other models, I will say that the battery does die a little bit faster. So all in all, I'm somewhere around 14,500, 1,500 on a month-to-month basis to own my Tesla Cybertruck. And for me, I personally don't think that's that bad. Of course, I'm gonna get trolls in the comments talking about financial literacy and how this is an appreciating asset and driving a trash can, blah, 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 blah. But I enjoy the car. I love the car. My family loves the car. I think it's very unique. I think it's extremely different than anything anybody sees on the road, and I absolutely love everything about it. So for me, making a payment like that does not affect me because I know, for one, I can afford it. For two, I enjoyed my purchase. And I think that's going to get me to my next point. If you guys are out buying anything cheap or expensive, get what you want, because I believe that when you get what you want, it makes paying for it a lot more enjoyable and a lot easier. But when you're paying for something that you don't like, I swear to God, you're going to hate yourself and you're going to hate the fact that you even have to handle this type of responsibility for something that you do not like. Get what you want. And this will be my last video of 2024. And 2024 has been a hell of a year. I really appreciate all you guys' support. The page has grown a lot. As a content creator, I've grown a lot. And as a person, I have grown a lot. And I really appreciate you guys watching the journey this far. 2025, we're going to take it up a notch. And until next year, I'll see you guys. Peace.